This is that 64 Deluxe Reverb. It has been recapped. And maybe a tangent, maybe not. Maybe this appeals to some of you. I was watching a video the other day, ostensibly about photography, but the real lesson was remembering to love what you do, why you do what you do, and to let everything else go, let all the commercial stuff go, let all the pressures, the ego go, and just focus on the work. And this amp is a good reminder to me of that. This is an amp that I truly enjoy working on because I know the result will be fantastic, that the owner will love it, and that the amp deserves all the TLC, and is a challenge to me in every little detail to do the work as well as I possibly can. Not for ego, but for taking pride in one's work, for taking the time to do things right, because that is enough of a goal by itself, just having done things right. I've got all the new filter caps, little bit of silicone beneath them so they won't come loose, some new dropping resistors, all the wires been recreated the way it was done. This board was taken out and cleaned and all the old solder and flux removed, blah, blah, blah. You've seen me do that before, but just take a minute. As an object, it's pretty now. That's one good sign that I've done my job. All the knobs came off, all the pot and jack hardware came off, everything was cleaned, everything put back, tightened, the knob is put back in place. The owner provided 2 replacement knobs for 2 that were damaged, they're period correct, and when I reinstall them, they all line up with the one on the center line, and they are all the exact same distance, same gap between the knob and the chassis. It's a whole lot of little details that aren't important to a lot of people, but to me, getting all the little details right ensures that I'll get the whole thing right. This is a pre-CBS amp, so as Leo dictated, all the grounds were made to chassis. Very nice solder joints there. I did disconnect the filament center tap. That's taped off, and some artificial center tap resistors are installed. I've talked about the reasons why I do that in other videos. But the power cable was grounded to a little tab underneath the transformer mounting nut, and it was not tight, and it had worked its way loose. And if I just retightened it, it would have worked its way loose again. And the cable itself was kind of poor quality. It was a computer cable that had been adapted for this use. So I put in a new power cable with a real nice gland here. It's called a cable gland. It's made by Hakko, the same people who make the old clamp things. This just works really well. And the ground is longer than the hot and neutral. It is going to chassis. Made a new connection right there. Got a nice little loop there, so it's not just taking up a bunch of space, but it still will work as far as the strain goes of being longer than these. And the hot comes over here to this part of the switch, and the polarity cap is gone, and then it goes over here to the center inner point on the fuse, and from there to the power switch, and the other side of the power switch goes to the primary, and the neutral comes to here, then to here, and joins the other primary. So the switch is not doing anything except giving us a place to anchor these solder joints. The rest of the amp is seemingly all original, aside from the cathode bypass caps. Previous tech had installed them and hooked them around the old lead. I got all that out and crimped the old lead backwards to give some mechanical support to each solder joint where a ground is made. And as you've seen in my other videos, I take these little Vichy 63 volts and I twist to the end here and then snip off the excess. I only have one connection going to the eyelet because these things can be kind of cramped. It's hard to get 2 wires in there. The old amp only had 1 wire. The old cap only had 1 wire. So now it only has 1 wire going in. So this works really well. And these are very nice capacitors. Looks kind of pretty. During the process, when I had all these caps out, I did lift things out like this cap and this cap, places in the board where I know DC likes to build up, and I really cleaned the heck out of the board and made sure I drove all the moisture out, and now there is no DC in this board, any of the common places, so there are no mystery buzzes or scratches or hums. As you will hear, the amp does work very well and sound very good now, but the tremolo speed, the minimum tremolo speed, is still quite fast, These three caps have drifted in value. I can either replace them with the same value caps for the original circuit sound. I could slow the circuit beyond what the original had. Or if the owner prefers, I can leave these in. They work, but they, it just doesn't go as slow as Leo intended. It's up to the owner. I would prefer to change them out, and I like to do 22, 22, 10 versus 20 or 22, 10, 10. But it's up to the owner. However, this Roach, the LDR on this side, there's a neon bulb here and an LDR over here. This LDR is not closing all the way, so the tremolo sound is very wimpy, as you'll hear. As first tested, the tremolo didn't work at all because it had an old RCA 12AX7 here, which will be returned with the amp. This is a little Pisvane, cheapy 12AX7 that's too microphonic to use anywhere in an audio path, but it's fine as a tremolo driver. The owner can have this. The owner can change it out for something else if he wants. I don't care. I just want to make sure the amp was working when he got it. Now, I'm not going to take one of my expensive mics off a stand and bring over here just for this one purpose, so trust me, but this Muller GZ34 makes little faint buzzy sounds all the time in the background. It is the tube. It is on its way out. I will talk to the owner. He may have a stash of other GZ34s, in which case no big deal. Or if he wants me to find one for him, current production or new old stock. Anyway, I'd like to change that before something goes wrong. But for right now, it is working. It just kind of has a little way in the background. The old RCA 636s seem absolutely fine, which is delightful. And all the other old preamp tubes are fine, though this one and this one are quite microphonic. I'm pretty sure the owner's got a box of really good 12X7s. I'll let him play preamp tube roulette. Let's start with the normal channel. That does what it says on the tin. Let's try the reverb channel. Oh, I forgot to mention, I disconnected that bright cap. It's still in the amp in case he wants it reconnected. But I've never found a Deluxe reverb to need bright as long as you're using round strings. So that's it. Minimum speed, all the intensity all the way up. And as you can hear, that tremolo is pretty weak and vague. That will be the Roach fix. And the tremolo being really fast, that's those caps. The tank you're hearing is an old 70s Accutronics I have. It's a good sounding tank, but you can't use it in an amp because if you walk in the room with it, it goes. So that's became my test tank because it's not usable in someone's actual amplifier. But I've not tested the one that came with this amp yet, but the owner said it worked fine. I'm sure it will. And this is the old speaker. I'm pretty sure it's an Oxford. I don't recall. It's got the Royer on it. I put the Royer pretty much just dead center in front of most speakers that come in, and just about a fist width away, my fists width away from the cab. It's about 4.5, 5 inches. It gives it a very natural sound of what the amp sounds like in the room, and I don't have any problems with it. It always translates very well on for what you're hearing as to what I'm hearing in the room. Yeah, that tremolo is so weak it might as well not even be on. So when you get to hear the final version of this amp, it'll be great. I'll tell you a secret if you're ever making a YouTube video. You gotta wait for the reverb trail before you talk again, and then when you edit it together, you can make it seem like you're talking over the reverb tail. Otherwise, it doesn't work unless you have the amp or cab in a different room, which I don't. Since this video is both about this amp and not quite about just this amp, let me also finish up by saying that as I've been doing the channel, especially very seriously over the past 3-4 years, I've really come to love the photography, the videography, setting up the shots, getting all the colors right, getting the focus right for you guys, doing a little bit of storytelling without intruding into the technical side of the nuts and bolts of how things work. And that's been a joy. And I really look forward to improving as I go, but I still want the focus to be that I'm a guy who repairs amps who also makes videos about it, as opposed to I'm a YouTube channel that has amps. So that balance is very important to me. I think I've mostly been able to maintain it, and it's something I'm very conscious of, but that doesn't mean that everything has to look and sound bad. I like it when it kind of looks and sounds good. Speaking of which, I also rebuilt the bias board. Forgot to mention that. Everything in there is nice and clean and neat and new and working beautifully, and the amp biases wonderfully. Thanks for watching.